Homeland, May 9th, 1874. My name is Ada Lansky. I'm 14 years old and I live in Telk, Czechoslovakia. We have an average-sized family, 4 children, a mother and a father. My mother and father are not loving or caring parents. In fact, they often beat us when we are not perfect. My youngest brother, Cade, is 2 and he is kind of a rascal, but he knows when it is time to behave. He loves my mother very much because he is her favorite, and he does not understand how mean she is. He is very outgoing and loud. He has short platinum blonde hair. Hannah, my sister, is 12 years old. She is a quiet and shy girl who will do whatever she is told. She is very sweet and she is my best friend. She has light brown hair and beautiful blue eyes. Mother and father like her a little, but they are still mean to her. I am mother and father's least favorite child because I talk back and stand up for myself. I work the hardest around here, but my mother and father do not care. They beat me a lot because I do not do a good enough job at anything I do, according to them. I have dark brown hair and emerald green eyes. I am smart, cunning, independent, and a great leadership. I enjoy collecting seashells whenever I visit the ocean. I do not like Tavo very much. I think he is full of himself, self-centered, and rude. Tavo is my older brother. He is 18 years old. He is tall with dark brown hair and blue eyes. He is not very friendly and does not like me. He is not a loving or caring person. My parents do not like him. They think he is a disappointment because he works at a bakery and is not married and living on his own farm. My mother, Sasha, and age 34, has light brown hair and blue eyes and is very mean. She does not approve of anything we say. My father, Leon, age 40, is tall and has dark brown hair and green eyes. He is very mean and scary. He does anything my mother asks and is very judgmental. He also beats us a lot. I have a boyfriend named Fabio Balik. He is 17 years old. He has light brown hair and green eyes, just like me. He is pretty tall and very sweet. He lives with his family on a bean farm next door. Telk is a fairly big town. However, I do not live in town. My family and I live outside of town in the countryside on our little farm. We live in a rundown little farmhouse. The richer people call it a shack, but I do not think it is that bad. My parents share a bedroom a little bigger than mine. Me, Hannah, and Cade share a small room. It is one small mattress for me and Hannah to share, and Cade sleeps in a basket on the floor, but he does not mind. Tavo sleeps in the living room on a cot. We do not like our small house, but mother and father get mean when we tell them. We do not have indoor plumbing. We do our business behind the barn. There's an outhouse, but the roof and most of a wall got knocked off in a storm last year. It is very cold in the winter, but Papa won't fix it, and he won't let Tavo either. I'm leaving my hometown to go to America because my parents are abusive. This is a push factor. They are very mean and not good parents. My boyfriend Fabio and I worked for 4 years to make enough money to go to America. Tavo also helped a little, but not much. Fabio's a bean farmer, and his lovely parents were gracious enough to let him keep a little bit of money he made selling beans, which he put towards my trip to America. I secretly kept a bit of the money I made selling our farm goods, along with a few odd jobs I did behind my parents' back. My parents would be very upset to find out I was making money and not giving it to them to spend on useless things. Tavo, Hannah, Cade, and I will take our 2 horses from the farm and ride them to Amsterdam, Netherlands, where we will sell them. It breaks my heart that I have to sell Mary. I do not even want to think about how mad my parents will be at us for stealing their horses. From Amsterdam, we will walk to the seaport, where we will ride a ship to America. The whole trip took about 5 days. We will leave behind our parents and Fabio. When we get to America, it will be different because we will be immigrants. This is how a typical day is for me. I wake up to the roosters crowing and my parents yelling at each other. I wake up my sister and we go outside to milk the cows. Tavo has already left to go to his job at the Kazel family bakery in De Gijs. Then I grab a little stale bread on my way to take our crops into town to sell on the street market. After a long but successful day selling crops, I start walking home. I also take a little of the money I made and secretly keep it for myself. By the time I get home, the sun is setting, so I go to milk the cows one more time. My parents yell at me and beat me because I didn't bring home enough money. Then I eat a piece of bread and some ham before going to bed. I repeat this 7 days a week because my parents force us to work on Sundays instead of going to church. Although Tavo does not work on Sundays, so sometimes he helps with the cows, but normally he just works in the field. I'm not allowed to go to school, but that is common, especially for farm kids.
1 year later, August 11th, 1891. After a while of waiting for the ferry boat, it arrived. Then we got on and headed for New York City. We stayed 4 months in New York City. While there, we lived in a one-room tenement. We then bought train tickets to take us to Buffalo. It took us 9 to 8 hours to get there. When we got there, we found a two-room tenement. We opened up a bakery in Buffalo. I worked there with my parents. In our tenement, my parents got their own room, and I slept in the kitchen. We had one boarder. His name was Reginald Bartholomew. He is 23 years old. He is an immigrant from Berlin, Germany. He is a salesperson for a market on the street. Reginald has to push a cart of goods around all day. Sometimes when he is almost sold everything, he pushes me around in the cart. My mom got pregnant. She had a baby girl. Mom and Dad named her Lucy. My aunt and uncle sent a letter saying that they were coming over to America, but they have not sent a letter since. Dad thinks they got sent back home. No one else has said anything about coming over. I met an American boy on the street. His name is Isaac. We are friends now, even though we cannot understand each other that well. We all have had a difficult time learning English. Reginald has been helping me learn English and has taught me some German. We have otherwise been doing good.
Homeland, February 8th, 1907. Dear Journal, my name is Marta Zimmerman. I am 60 years old. I live in Goslar, Germany. I am 5 feet tall and have gray hair. I live in Goslar, Germany with my husband Hans, 65, my grandson Adolf, 16, my granddaughter Anna, 14. Hans is blunt and speaks his mind. Adolf is trying to get married. Anna is refusing to get married. Goslar is very small. There's a store, a bakery, 8 houses, and our farm. Goslar is cold and cloudy. My husband Hans did the farm work with my son William and grandson Adolf. On a typical day here, I knit clothes for the family and to sell. 10 years after William married Freda and they had their children Adolf and Anna, they moved to America. William sent money from his farm in Minnesota to bring us to America. We are going to America because of the full factor of opportunity. We sold the farm for money to go to America. We will travel by wagon to the train station and sell it for money to get train tickets. Then we will ride the train to a seaport. We will be immigrants. Shipped to America, March 5th, 1907. The ship we were on, the SS Overboard, we got first class tickets. It was very nice. I sold some cookies and made $5. The men in first class heard about how good the cookies were. They wanted some cookies, so I was allowed to play cards with they using cookies. Over the first week, I won.
Hey, you only have to read one journal.
Fine then, I'm done.
September 22nd, 1896. I am Isidore Mazur, 6 foot at the age of 16 and still growing. I am starving for my mother. I have brown hair, brown eyes, and I love to farm. I am trying to be an immigrant to America. We are leaving our country because of a push factor of bad living conditions. Mother is 5'5". She has brunette hair and is very strict and stubborn. She has a pretty face and is 39. My brother Noah is short and is 12 years old at 4'7". He has black hair and is very gruff. My father was a tall, stout man, and at 6'7". He was relaxed about life until he got dysentery and died. I lived in Slepsk, Poland, about 6 to 8 miles from the seaport. The town isn't very busy because it's still growing. There are about 2,000 people in the town. The food is good and the music lively. We live on a small farm in a shack on the outskirts of town, and we own cattle. My brother and I sleep in the hayloft because our house is very rickety. Our mother sleeps in the only safe room in the house. I wake up in the morning and milk all the cows. My brother checks the chicken coop. After we milk the cows, we feed the animals and clean all of their waste. Then we go to our secret fishing spot and bring home lunch, which is the fish we caught. My mom homeschools Noah. Then after lunch, I go into town and I work at the factory until 7 p.m. Then I go and visit my father's grave and give him a flower from the garden, and then I walk home. Finally, I go and milk the cows again and feed them. At night I go up to the hayloft and sleep with my brother. My brother and I had to sell half of our livestock to afford 2 tickets to America. When we get to America, we will tell Mother to sell the rest of the livestock so she can come. My brother Noah and I are going to walk to the seaport. It will take us about 200 minutes or 3 hours. We will leave on my dad's birthday so we can say goodbye to him. Go.
Hello, I am Oscar Zainab and I'm 18. We're moving to America because we are poor. I am sailing with my mother. Her name is Julia and she is 41. She also loves to wash clothes for a lady we work for here in Lund, Sweden. My brother Lorenzo, he is 26 and he works in America. He's a baker. He has to pay for our tickets because we are too poor. My brother Lorenzo also has a wife. Her name is Elsa. She is 25 and she is a great maid who loves to clean houses for money. I live in Lund, Sweden. There are tall buildings and stone streets. It is beautiful. Me and my mother, Julia, live on a suburb of town. It is a small wooden shack that is falling apart. It's loud in the streets and people yell. There is a big cathedral that has been there for centuries and it is amazing. It is a long walk to the seaport. I made the walk lots of times before to get water though. It is 3 hours away. Hopefully it is the last time I make the walk. I do not ever want to drink that water again. My mother and I do not make that much money. For my brother Lorenzo to go, he saved up for 5 years. It is incredible that he was able to earn that money in 1 year for 2 tickets. I cannot wait to get on the ship. It will be so exciting to see America. Here in our hometown, I usually go hunting for food in the field. In America, we will be able to buy food. And once we eat, me and my mother go to Mrs. Johnson's and clean and wash clothes. It is the only job someone will hire us for here in London. I like to work for Mrs. Johnson because she is super nice and sometimes lets me have a fresh bagel while I'm working. Those bagels are delicious. We will both miss our home country, but it's the best choice for us. At this time before we get on the ship, I am 6'1" and weigh 169 pounds. I have short brown hair and brown eyes. I have 1 extra toe on my left foot. Also, I cannot wait to get off that ship.
Alright, my name is Boris Kozlev. I am 26 years of age from Saratov, Russia. I have annoying neighbor Vadim that often comes home loud and intoxicated. He put the plates and trying to sleep. Anyways, neighbor Vadim aside, I learned to cook from Mother Babushka at a very young age and mostly worked at bakery for most of life. Anyways, besides that, I have been very sick of living in poverty in Central Russia lately. So, to escape annoying neighbor Vadim and trying to save my sanity from lack of sleep, I have stole some money from neighbor Vadim while he was sleeping. I have gathered some money from my job, and of course I borrowed some money from Mother Babushka. I have enough money to finally get a ticket to America, and I am going to steal neighbor Vadim's horse and go to the port where I can then go to port.
My name is Elias Allen. I am 19 years old and I have a little brother named Oscar. He is 3 years old and can get on my nerves sometimes. He also loves to run around and play with the cats. My mom is 36 and her name is Alice. My dad, William, is 38 and has a shop in town named Williams of Bagels. I am traveling with my dad, brother, and mom. The reason I left Sweden is because there's a norovirus outbreak on all the crops, so I cannot eat them. I'm leaving my grandparents behind because they're too old, which I'm sad about. I like going fishing. I also like walking around the neighborhood with my friends. I work at my dad's shop and help him make some of the bagels. I'm 6'2" and my dad shaved all my hair because he thought my hair would get good bagels. Sometimes I'm stubborn, sometimes I'm nice. I don't have that much money. I live in Marstrand, Sweden, which is a really small town. It's a population of 257 people. House are little and made of wood. I live in a little wooden house with my whole family, which is really packed. The way I'm going to get to the seaport is just by horse, and I'm going to walk the rest of the way there. It might take a day or so. We saved up the money from the bakery for about 2 years, and I help our neighbors with laundry. There's not a lot of people, so I just hang out with my friends, and I usually hang out with my best friend Hugo. My family is very caring, and they help me out with chores and stuff like that.